Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me. We just finished the second week of the lather games over on Reddit. It's fun as usual, very easy for me. You have to shave every day and I'm a daily shaver. There are people who start the games to compete and manage to keep a really good pace throughout the games. It's pretty amazing to me, always entertaining. There's a lot of others, sort of like me, who start with a lot of energy and then sort of get into to a more efficient rhythm as the days go on. Anyway, what I'm here to talk about is my new Puma 89. I already have a Puma 89 and I found this one for a really good price. So I thought, well, it'd be good to, first of all, good steel. And I thought it would be good to pick up a second one so I could do some comparison shaving. This one, you saw me put an Ozuko edge on and it shaves really well. This other one, looks to have a little bit more blade to it than the other one, but they're very, very close. What I think I'm going to do with this second one is to put a Coticule edge on it. I'm going to try to not, I typically follow the Coticule with a black arc, but this time I think I'm just going to go straight Coticule. I don't know how this is, of course, shave ready. Let's test that. Clearly, you know that this isn't going to test well because up there it's fairly sharp. Fairly sharp. I can push at the center there. But I obviously tested this, otherwise I wouldn't be doing a video. So I don't know whether, as usual, I don't know whether this was previously sharpened with tape or not. So this time around, I'm going to start on the 2K. Here, hang on. I'm going to start on the 2K, and hopefully the edge will come to me very quickly. And then we'll proceed on the 4K synthetic, and then the 8K synthetic. Then I'll move over to the Coticule to put the finish scratch pattern on the edge and do any final shaping. This has been already flattened, so I'm going to raise a little bit of slurry to help keep the edge keep the edge a little bit soft, cleaner, with a little bit of slurry on these lower grits. Because it's a synthetic stone, I'm really not looking for the slurry to add a lot to this process, but it does. The main thing that I'm looking for is to help keep the edge free of burrs as I sharpen. All right, let's dig in and see what we get. I did place this on a flat surface, and it lies flat on both sides. And what I'm attempting to do here is really shaping. It's just about here. It's really just about getting the bevel geometry to be good. Okay, let's take a look. I really only care about scratch pattern from the point of view of shave comfort. I only care about the scratch pattern at the very end. At the beginning here, the scratch pattern is important to read to determine that you're getting to the edge. and that you're also abrading the bevel evenly. Okay, let's take a look. Nothing great so far. So probably sharpened with tape. Let's keep going. So normally normally in these videos I've been starting on the 4K and then moving to 2K if needed. This time I thought I'd start here on the assumption that this was sharpened with tape, as seems to be the most popular thing these days. I prefer, as I've said in the past, I prefer to maintain an optimal sharpening angle over the life of the razor, and not increase the sharpening angle with each sharpening as you do with tape. But the downside of that is some spine wear, which I think actually is a good thing. I think spine wear shows that the razor's been used. Sort of a well-worn tool concept. Paying attention as usual to the whole blade from heel to toe, keeping the heel on the stone, not doing one of these sweeping things. I do those to blend any work that I've done and to deburr. Okay, let's try again. Still nothing, so we're going to keep going. Get a little more. So clearly this is one of those things where I have to, the biggest amount of metal to be removed here is normally on the spine. So I have to lower the spine. If the razor's always been sharpened with tape, then I have to lower the spine to get the lower the width of the spine, reduce the width, to get the sharpening angle back to the point where I can get the two bevels to meet at the apex. Kind of feel like this edge of the toe, I feel like this is coming up a little bit here, so I'm going to push it. Let's see, this is coming up. I want to push that in the other direction. Sometimes these things are easier to feel than to describe. Let's see if that made any difference. The steel feels hard. It feels like this was pretty well hardened, which may make it take friggin' forever on the Coticule. The Coticules are slow anyway, because of the way the garnets tend to lay in the stone. They don't present that kind of spiky surface that you would get here or on sandpaper. I feel like maybe I'm feeling a change here. let's see how we're doing. So I'm spending a little time here to test. Oh, it's real close, I can tell. I'm still not breaking the skin of the packing peanut, but I can feel like it's about to go. And so my goal with the testing is to transition off this stone as soon as I'm ready to. As soon as this stone has created the basic geometry, bevel geometry. Let's maybe. Yeah, it sure feels good. I feel like this toe section is better in this direction. I like if there's a geometry issue, it's real nice if it's small enough that can be just taken care of with a tiny bit of shaping on the stone. As you might imagine, I've got no preparation. I hit the button and I'm just talking. So let's see how we're doing here. Aha! Look at that. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, look at that. I thought it was about ready to go. Yeah, okay. We are now off the 2K. I could push it. I'm sure it would go a little sharper, but I don't need to. The 4K can refine. Can refine down a little bit. Let's do a cursory amount of flattening, because I realized that I had not flattened this stone. I normally, as I've said several times before, I normally flatten before and after. So it was flattened after the last use. All right, let's make sure we're not contaminating abrasive here. Raise the slurry. And this is the, 4K. I may have worn the diamond off of this thing. Hang on, I'm going to, hang on just a second. I'm going to pause the video and go get medium. Okay, so it turns out that this one is the extra fine stone, and this one is the fine stone. So that should work just fine. Yeah, I can feel that there's abrasive on this, diamond abrasive on this little finger stone. Now I don't need to use a lot of pressure. All I want to do is scrub up the surface a little bit. A little bit of water. And we're ready to go. Gotta do a little organizing over here. Okay. On the 4K. Now I've said before that in general, if you're just beginning on this, take a look at that scratch pattern. I am cheating on that because I have pretty well developed feel on the stones, especially for these glass stones. And I'm also testing the edge from heel to toe, and I know that when I started, it was pretty much dull from heel to toe. So I know I can infer that I've gotten to the edge everywhere because it's tested sharper everywhere. So I'm skipping that step. But you know, if you're just starting out, more information is better information. So it takes longer, but you can quickly get to the point where you can, if you do that, if you use that process of just doing every step. Okay, that just changed. I just felt the edge really just went onto the stone. Yeah, so what I started to say is, at first, if you're just starting, gather as much information about your sharpening as you can, and then as you've done more and more of these things, you'll be able to skip the inspection step more easily. I still I don't like to fool myself, so because I get overconfident. So I almost always check the edge around 8K. Well, that's pretty darned easy. Yeah, that's going in real easily. Maybe could use a little bit here just to make it easier on the 8K. Alrighty. Now we'll bump up to the 8K. And then of course we'll get to the Coticule, which could potentially be a lot of time. So here we are at 8K. As I said, I'm going to take a look under the microscope after this. That's still my habit. You know, I don't know anything about this steel. I know it's getting sharper, but it could be getting sharper like a sawtooth for all I know. So we're going to find out. All right. A little bit of flattening. Feels good. Rinse off previous abrasive. Give ourselves a little slurry here. May as well. Do a little hands. All right. Let's just assume let's give ourselves the best chance of working with fresh metal. Yeah, it feels really good. So what do I mean when I say that? What I mean is that I kind of feel the, I can feel contact. I'm not using any torque into the edge, and I can feel contact with the entire edge as I push the razor back and forth across the stone, and so that's generally what you're looking for. I'm going to do a few extra laps here, test, and then we'll go take a look at this, assuming the test looks good. Thought maybe I felt a little piece of something. Often that's like lint or something. There isn't too much of a chance of, since it's a thin synthetic stone, it's not going to eject a large piece of abrasive like a natural stone might. The Shapton stones and the Nanawa stones, they do a pretty good job of getting very even abrasive into their stones. All right, let's see where we are. Wow, I went backwards. Well, that's right, because I did kill the edge. So I have not, I brought it back, but I know there's more that I can get here. That's taking a little bit of pressure. So let's continue to bring that edge back. Hang on. All right, let's see where we are. Okay, getting there. I'd say it needs a little work on the heel. Definitely my concern for the heel comes from knives, but if you have even wear on the whole edge, you know, you can say, well, you know, I don't use the heel. I happen to use the heel when I shave, but, or at least that section. But you can say, well, I don't use it, so I don't need to sharpen it. But the more you sharpen a razor that way, if you sharpen it with the heel off the stone, then the more you sharpen it, the more you're uneven the wear is becoming at the edge. All right, let's take a look. I still feel like it could get a lot better on the toe for the 8K. So let's do a little work there. And I always like to, with a new razor, I pretty much always do the first part of the sharpening on synthetic stones, because if I do need to correct something, the density of the abrasive is such that that normally can happen quickly. As I said before, with something like a Coticule, it can take forever. All right, another test. Just figuring out how much. Oh, that's better. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Let me go take a look, and I will put that image up, and then I'll be back. Okay. The edge is very nice and clean on both sides. So I'm sure that well, not sure. I know that I could refine this edge more if I needed to. I could push it more. It's, but I think having a little dimension there is a good thing. That nice clean edge is about to get changed considerably. Let me go clean up a little bit here and grab the Coticule. The Coticule, our purpose here is to finish the edge. And in other words, finish narrowing the edge, but mostly now it's all about putting a new scratch pattern, the Coticule scratch pattern, on the edge, and it's going to be quite different than what you just saw. I'm not going to raise a huge slurry here. I'm going to keep it pretty thin because the edge is already good. So I'm not going to do a delicate edge. I'm just going to use the slurry here to help define a new scratch pattern. See what we're doing here. Help define, that could be a little thicker. Help define a new scratch pattern. And that's, it's the, at this point, it's this new scratch pattern that I'm going to feel. I just found I'm really kind of surprised by this, and I kind of want to see if there's any confirmation, but I just read a paper that indicates that humans can detect with their fingers, with their sense of touch, a change in texture of 10 nanometers. Now, a nanometer is a billionth of a meter, or 1,000th of a micron. A micron is 1,000th of a millimeter. So, that's pretty amazing. That's getting way too. Let's raise a little bit more. I want this to be watery and thin. Normally with Delicut, you go from a thick slurry to progressively thinner slurries. That works because first of all, the slurry is the same size as the abrasive in the stone. That's not the case when you use a Nagura progression. A Nagura progression goes from a coarse slurry to a more fine slurry. But with a Coticule, you use a slurry typically that's the same, that's made from the stone itself. So that would be a Tomo Nagura in Japanese terms. And for a Coticule, the surface is not sandpapery. It doesn't really have a huge amount of texture to it, and that contributes to it being slow. And so the slurry here is an abrasive that is free of the stone, and so it cuts a little better, and it has the benefit of, as I move the razor, of texturing the stone. So the slurry itself is to some degree digging into and texturing the stone, which will help later as we move to just water on the stone. I may do something else. I may do glycerin on the stone. So let's dilute that. Hang on. I've got. Hang on, just a sec. Okay, we're back. Let me dilute this just a little bit. small stone, so I've got to do a lot of, I mean, these are slow anyway, but I have to do a fair number of passes here. Definitely not liking the this toe still. I think I'm gonna live with it. It looked okay under the microscope, so I'm thinking that I'm getting it through a little bit of rolling when I X-stroke. Able to get the razor onto the stone by angling it. I could work in sections. You know, this is a valid thing to do. I'm definitely feeling some suction. So let's dilute just a little bit more. We're in the mode where just letting the razor rest on the stone. If the stone was longer, then I'd be able to move a little bit. I'd get more abrasion with each stroke. But we're doing okay. All right, I think I'll see what this has done to the edge, and then you know, potentially go to a slightly thinner slurry, and or not. We'll see. I don't know. That's really, really good. That's really good. It's definitely not picture postcard perfect at the toe, but it's certainly good. All right, so let's see now. Hang on, I'm going to go find my glycerin. Okay, I don't think I mentioned it, but both of these razors are Puma 89s, 6/8 hollow ground. This is a highly precise method of making a glycerin solution. It feels awfully good to me. All right. Again, I'm looking for lubrication here. I want let's do some spinning. I'd like this to be thicker. My goal here is that this is a situation where I could have enough variation in garnet size that there could be an oddball stone here sticking out of the Coticule and giving a sort of a layer of glycerin and water helps to have a layer on which the razor rides, and maybe helps with that. It certainly promotes feel. Spin this again. Now, I shouldn't need to do too much more because it was very, very good off the last very thin slurry. But as I said, these tend to be slow. I'm not super happy. Excuse me. I'm not super happy with the way the glycerin solution is flowing in this direction. I'm certain you can't see it. I feel like I might be just about to. Let's spin it. So this is about giving the stone an opportunity. You know, I'm letting the heel. I'm mostly worried about this section here, and so what I'm doing is What I'm doing is giving the stone an opportunity to present a different set of abrasive density. I mean, the color of the stone is different here, so I'm assuming that you know, the makeup of it from an abrasive standpoint might be different as well. So I'm giving it an opportunity. I feel like it's just starting. Plus, I mean, what video of mine would be complete without, you know, an opportunity for you to just watch me endlessly go back and forth on a stone. Boy, that's just not super duper. I'm not using any pressure though. I feel like it's just starting, but it's really not great. All right, let's test. And then we'll, if it tests well, we'll go take a look. And I think you'll be surprised at how awful it looks compared to what you just saw. But they tend to shave really well, even though they look bad. Oops, sorry. Well, I think with some stropping, we'll be into push into the cloud territory. So let me go strop it and I'll be back. Okay, I just did 25 laps on the fire hose linen. strop that I got from Keith Johnson. And we are, oh, sorry. We are in push into the cloud territory. This was a fresh packing peanut. Just shy of push into the cloud territory, but very, very close. All right, let me go take a look at this. Then I'll do final stropping, and then I'll be back. Okay, I will have just shown you the edge in the microscope. You probably noticed that the very apex has a kind of a soft, ever so slightly wavy character to it. And that's at very, very high magnification, as all of my microscope images are. As I said, you can apparently feel, people can apparently feel texture down to 10 nanometers. So I think this is what accounts for the soft feel when shaving with a cuticle edge. Similarly, I think that's also what accounts for the feel of a Jnat edge. That there's a certain texture to the Jnat edge at the apex, and potentially you feel a little bit of the bevel when you put the razor to your face. But what cuts is the bevel geometry. The keenness of the edge is really what cuts, and the keener, the easier the cut, but also the keener, the less material there is to handle the stress of shaving whiskers off the face. All right, so I've done 40 laps on the steer hide leather here. I thought you can join me for the last 10. And that's it. You'll notice I strop sort of slowly, and what I'm doing is monitoring. I want even pressure when I hit the strop. I want even pressure along the whole edge, and I want to maintain that pressure as I go across. And so for me, at least, I can do that if I move more slowly. And what I'm trying to do is use the compliance of the material to ever so slightly bend the edge. There's also burnishing and a little abrasion that occurs with stropping, but the primary effect is deformation of the edge in a beneficial way. Let's do our final test here. Well, we are in push in the cloud territory. Definitely. All right, I'm very happy with that. I think it'll be a super shave. I'll take a final image and let you know what the shave test was like when I show you that image. Thank you very much for joining me. I do appreciate all the comments that I get, and I will see you in the next one. So the shave went very well. No problems with the edge. I would say that the edge was slightly less sharp than I'm used to, but I shaved with edges that most people consider to be too sharp. In terms of the feel, I was paying attention to the feel of the cuticle apex versus my other razors. I only have 2 or 3 other razors with cuticle edges, and I think almost all of those have black Arkansas finish. So this might be the only razor I have at the moment with a full cuticle edge. I'll probably push it to see what happens, see if it gets any sharper. But really, With this shave, there was nothing to complain about. Very, very comfortable. Uh, certainly close enough for a daily shaver who's a hobbyist and kind of a nerd about shaving. Anyway, thank you, and I will see you in the next one.